What up, it's your boy Jay Caulfield, and you're listening to Uncovering the Underground Radio with my homeboy Skippy Ickham on Spreaker Podcast Radio, bringing you the best underground music.
Yo, what up, everybody? It's your man Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment, and I'm very excited to bring to you Anthems from the Asylum, an exclusive mixtape from the label you won't find anywhere else. It's that hardcore shit for your ear, pussy, bitch. Yeah, listen.
There's too many people rapping now, it feels like it's everyone. But yo, I'm a veteran, which means that you'll better run. Who's your favorite rapper, bitch? Nah, pick a better one. Either way, I'll bring the darkness like the setting sun. I set fire to your dreams, do it just for fun. I'm Tupac and Biggie, I'm Big L and Pun mixed in a pot, now I'm spewing it back on every track that I smash when I'm unleashing my rap. I got your girl with my Sukasa, I'm breaking her back, and after that she jerked me off, but she be sucking my sack. We jump inside the whip and now we heading out from my pad right back towards your place. Why? Cause I'm giving her back. She thought that I was gonna wipe her, but that shit made me laugh. I was only in it for the ass, she's only in it for the cash. I never cared for your baby, besides that pussy was trash. Might have been a John to you, but I ain't giving you jack, nah.
Burn the game, yo, better get some ointment. I'm doing all of this just for my enjoyment. This the battlefield, I'm ready for deployment. You wanna test your fake, kid, and leave it to the coin flip.
I'm blown colder, yet spit fire like a flamethrower. Fire any shots through your Range Rover. Hollow point, game over. Watch your body burn, watch it smolder. You'll never grow older, motherfucker, I'm a soldier, so no remorse for lurking in this head. True psycho. And when I aim, I'm busting for your head. I cock back, now I'm dressed in red. True psycho. I like to pause for dramatic effect. I'm choking your neck. I like to kick back and crack a cold one because your boy is blessed. Celebrate life while I watch your death. There's no respect. So who's next? Who's fucking with the tyrant? You're small time. I'm a motherfucking giant. I'm live on stage. My presentations are timeless. You died on stage. Your shit is boring and lifeless.
Burn the game. Yo, better get some ointment. I'm doing all of this just for my enjoyment. This the battlefield, I'm ready for deployment. You wanna test your fake, kid, and leave it to the coin flip.
The drugs that you're taking, clouding out your optics. Games that you're playing on fun, fucking stop it, it's nonsense. Don't make me come up with concoctions to take you out, using my raging sharp objects. I'm the type to punch you dead in the face. Breaking your house at night, I'll leave you fucking dead in your place. I'm the angel with death, and yes, my presence is great. Capture your soul for eternity, my minion and slave. There's no escape, no getting away from the anger and rage. Bear witness to my fury and flames. The same one that'll beat you to death without breaking a sweat. The one that had your girl screaming his name.
It's Ickham.
Had enough of all this hip-hop shit, because rap now is trash with these dudes sucking dick, dressing like little faggots while they acting like a bitch. You getting smashed like glass when I crack your ribs, because
I burn the game, yo, better get some ointment. I'm doing all of this just for my enjoyment. This the battlefield, I'm ready for deployment. You wanna test your fake, kid, and leave it to the coin flip.
My brain leak on the paper like a brain drill. Never feels better than when the rain hit. I speak of nothing but the insane shit. Are you ready to learn my language? My brain leak on the paper like a brain drill. Never feels better than when the rain hit. I speak of nothing but the insane shit. Are you ready to learn my language? Ever since a tadpole, I've always been a slimy one. Trouble the misfit, living this shit the grimy one. You've been waiting for your new king, well I have come. Bow your heads and taking place in the asylum. I'm sick of the killing kittens, the lava's up as I'm spitting. The wicked is my intention, with enemies in the mission. Listen, this is not fiction, I have come to make it real. If I have to, I will kill, prophecy be fulfilled. Call it the will of the gods or the will of the devils, but really I believe in none. So I'm sorry for your troubles, I have come with a shovel, bury you deep in the hole. My feelings I can't control, so I gotta take your soul. With a mug like Rocky Dennis and an evil with Dennis. Ugly and understatement, I'm a downright menace. You with me to hit the scrimmage, make the push in the first. We brutal up in this business, this is sick and it's worse. My brain leak on the paper like a brain drill. Never feels better than when the rain hit. I speak of nothing but the insane shit. Are you ready to learn my language? My brain leak on the paper like a brain drill. Never feels better than when the rain hit. I speak of nothing but the insane shit. Are you ready to learn my language? Another verse for the worst, with the heads that hurt. The downtrodden, forgotten, but still walking this earth. Then my motherfucking people, fuck the steeple, I'm a stomping the opposition, the competition is none. No, we wicked dharma shine brighter than the sun. Enemies come, I am done with the beat around. I watch as I beat them down and sit there and bleed them out. Y'all don't want nothing with the team. Brutal is the business, we murder the scene. No. I kill a bitch when it's time. We be a virus spreading all across the land. No. My brain leak on the paper like a pain drill. Never feels better than when the rain hit. I speak on nothing but the insane shit. Are you ready to learn my language? My brain leak on the paper like a pain drill. Never feels better than when the rain hit. I speak on nothing but the insane shit. Are you ready to learn my language?
Be the bad man, to always have to be the ass no matter the situation I'm in, always having to justify my laundry list of sins. But do me a favor and take a minute and look at the shit from my position. Never stop to consider to take a gander at the bigger picture. Without this music, the soul within would rot and wither, and without a mortal coil all the snakes begin to slither, giving way to the pressure of a beast that's truly sinister. I can see it in the bones, wake it up. Hear the cries of the windigo, shake it up. The dead dwell within the snow, pick 'em up. And you feel the sickness take hold, it's in your blood, spreading within you, it's so infectious. Give it a little taste, you see it's so delicious. Ravenous from the hunger that's become so vicious. You become a slave to your selfish wishes. Save me, my body is a gateway for all the things that can save me. Re-energize and reanimate, purpose in today. Save me, my body is a gateway for all the things that can save me. Re-energize and reanimate, purpose in today.
The pressure's building up and I'm about to like a fuse to the flame, but I guess that's how it eliminate the pain. Every time we do another show, the mic is like a therapist. Pour my soul atop these noses shows when I blow, and the stage bursts a flame, and the face is filled with rage, and the pick cannot be tamed. Laid away your anguish, just immerse yourself among the waves. Let the music feel you, leaving nothing but your greatness to be claimed. This is what my heart beats for. And all who challenge this will be kicked out the door. Face down, ass up, with your blood upon the floor. No exception for intentions aimed at killing what we work for. Fuck you, bitches, keep it brutal for life. The day I leave this label is the day that I die. Kill the opposition, the recital competition. Ain't got nothing on our vision. You will fall if you convince and suck the dick in.
My body is a gateway for all the things that can save me. Re-energize and reanimate, purpose in today. Save me. My body is a gateway for all the things that can save me. Re-energize and reanimate, purpose in today. Fingertips electrified, visions inside come alive. Salvation is waiting for me to find the reason why I have not yet learned to fly. My patience is fading, and I won't stand around waiting anymore.
I'm sick of sitting here staring blankly at the door.
I'll pick myself up off the floor
with the strength that I need to engage the foe.
The power flows forth from below.
Speaking of words to bring you home,
inscribe the message upon the stone. Fulfill the void and break the mold. Save me. My body is a gateway for all the things that can save me. Re-energize and reanimate, purpose in today. Save me. My body is a gateway for all the things that can save me. Re-energize and reanimate, purpose in today. Save me. My body is a gateway for all the things that can save me. Re-energize and reanimate, purpose in today. Save me. My body is a gateway for all the things that can save me. Re-energize and reanimate, purpose in today.
What's up, y'all? It's Lyric Zone from Brutal Business. You're now checking out Skippy Ickham from Uncovering the Underground. Check this shit out now.
No one ever treated me like you did.
Murder on the brain got me fiending for your blood loss. Something's gotta change, baby. It's time that I go off. Slice me off a piece and leave the carnage for your family. Something intimate when I hold this blade to your memory. Little bit of peace, that's my treat. I'm gonna tie your flesh down. Sanctify this room with a virgin murder below ground. Watch this how I do it, peel skin back. Take the bones out and pour candle wax. I'm sick in nature. See my features. Is a mine, I say mine. Hard as fuck, but you know that's spills. Why talk less and just take pills? Couple diners in, I rolled in thrill. Different trigger acid just to hear her squeal. Last girl said I'm a sick fuck, so I hung her up, but I toss her. Guess the pickup lines don't work.
inspiration, situations in quotation. Don't wanna live through observation, just wanna be a casualty of civilization. I'm on the hunt for inspiration, situations in quotation. Don't wanna live through observation, just wanna be a casualty of civilization.
Hey, what up, Lokesters? This is Loke Saint. You're listening to Uncovering the Underground with my man Skippy Ickham on Spreaker Podcast Radio, bringing you nothing but the best in underground music.
Murder music. Now this speech is for the birds. Those of you born into this world different than the rest because of your gifts. See, the world has tried to reject you, hate you, and alienate you because of your gifts. To make you separate, to hold you down, to clip your wings so bird you cannot fly anymore. This one's for you. Turn it up.
I wish I was a bird so I could fly away, but I am no bird, so on the ground did I will lay. Take me away from all these killing fields of hate where we're held at bay, and make me fly or let me die, 'cause I can't take even one more day.
Every night when I pray, what I say, God help the love to fly high away. 'Cause I'm sick of the planet devil, damn it, I wanna kill it, that's why I shy away. Brainwaves in a telekinetical kind of state, I'm lying wide awake. I'm up inside of my pineal gland, and what a metaphysical man that is tied to fate. Then my mind get grandiose, even though the world I'm living like a barrio. See wherever the mind goes, where the body goes, and I keep my mind high, so it's adios. Goes in a world full of snakes, they're striking with venom, open and beginners, beginning again. I'm a secular minimum, driven with a finger would hit him, it's only begin together, every bit of the wicked rhythm.
I just wanna fly, but they don't wanna see the phoenix rise. Lay down and die, clipping my wings and hope I will survive. I wish I was a bird so I could fly away, but I am no bird, so on the ground did I will lay. Take me away from all these killing fields of hate where we're held at bay, and make me fly or let me die, cause I can't take even one more day.
It's like I'm looking for a witness with the path of enrichment. I'm trying to force out the wicked and pay for repentance, cause I walk with the death like I'm sick, heart beats like a Christian compared to the rest. With furry pearls on my neck, I'm trying to keep blood on my flesh like a bird eye. Wish I could fly away, like suddenly 100 miles away. Why? I don't really feel the same from my campaign, and I be feeling all alone like they can't hang. I'm in the valley of the death, about to take brains. I guess I'm kinda psycho-whacking with this octane. When you mix elements, it gets unsafe. Lonely mix with the Bible, get low saint. It's something gotta give, I'm tired of this war pain. It's something got me in a chapel with the whore thing. Step into a vision when I get to ride it, you don't wanna run up on the spirit, carry a victim, I believe I'm burning. Every time I touch a microphone, I really leave them hurting. Angels deceive them, will leave you a corpse. If you see me coming, you should know that I get ready for whatever. If you want it, we can get it, I will murder flows. Every syllable that you be hitting, people spitting at me, doesn't matter, chew upon the shits for the birds.
I wish I was a bird so I could fly away, but I am no bird, so on the ground did I will lay. Take me away from all these killing fields of hate where we're held at bay, and make me fly or let me die, cause I can't take even one more day.
They hate what God made. I unravel my DNA and I place it before the planet, and granted gets thrown away. They don't like that I'm speaking something that's different than common say, and they slip in my wings and shackle my body to hold it bay. But I really wanna bust up out that box that I've been locked in, showing everybody that I can take flight when the brain maintain that oxygen. Came with the pain that I hang with a few screws loose and a neurotoxin. Shame on the herds and the bang on the birds and the belly of death that I'm boxed in.
I wish I was a bird so I could fly away, but I am no bird, so on the ground did I will lay. Take me away from all these killing fields of hate where we're held at bay, and make me fly or let me die, cause I can't take even one more day.
this is Morbid Psychosis, and you're listening to Uncovering the Underground with your boy, Skippy Ickham. Brutal Business Ent, baby.
Weebles, wobbles, never topples. Gangsta metal is what I call it. Got beefly bivvy, you feel froggy. Stomp your ass and kick your doggy. Get your head bobbing if this is knocking. Yo, Subaru or start crib walking. Weebles, wobbles, never topples. Gangsta metal is what I call it. Got beefly bivvy, you feel froggy. Stomp your ass and kick your doggy. Get your head bobbing if this is knocking. Yo, Subaru, start grip walking.
Hi, hello, it's Sick G.O. I'ma tell you something that you might not know. My style, liquid flow, is G-Kundo. A mix of Busta Rhymes and Slayer. Leave your body parts in separate parts of the earth's crust layers. Do this for all my one-dayers. Yeah, the people under the stairs. So light your blunt, wave your terrible towels in the air. Cause it weebles and wobbles, it don't fall down. Let your head bobble to that gangsta metal sound. Anthems from the asylum, get your headphones out. If your hob's like a toe, get your face stomped out. We the type to rob, then pull your entrails out. Leave a swarm of mobs just chilling in your mouth. Brutal Business Ent, we ain't bout that womp womp. Rip your heart out through your ass, punch it through your chest, punk bitch. Bet that will leave you delirious. Ask Miss Red, she'll say I call that a sick fist. And I'm bad to the bone, the type to get in trouble for making killer noise in the liver zone. My homies is some East Coast crazies. I've been a maniac since I was 10, alcoholic, but it's all gravy. Womp womp's a fucking anthem, so turn up the volume and let the hook begin again. From the asylum.
Weebles, wobbles, never topples. Gangsta metal is what I call it. Got beefly bivvy, you feel froggy. Stomp your ass and kick your doggy. Get your head bobbing if this is knocking. Yo, Subaru or start crib walking. Weebles, wobbles, never topples. Gangsta metal is what I call it. Got beefly bivvy, you feel froggy. Stomp your ass and kick your doggy. Get your head bobbing if this is knocking. Yo, Subaru or start crib walking.
I'm somewhat of a demo demon, the way I saw through your face. Leave you on the floor in a pile of bowel, pus and gore. Perform a nonsense method for the blood, but blood, I'm always craving more. Call me DJ, GWK, the way I cut these beats like the king of bloody more. Hades a horrorcore, you know the demanding ghost that stands behind you, whores with chloroform. Back in the day, me and my roommates used to yell gore illa. Now I'm screeching like a primate. Back then, stuck my black banana and all types of crazy kitty. They all had the fat ass and the tiggle bitties. Now you rotten cause I been in your belly, say it's on sight. Best back up cause these dogs bite. Like a troll in the night, I throw bombs when I fight. Ickums how we sick 'em when we throw down. So skip acting all painless cause you'll be in the now. Plus you only a DKM away. What you want do now? Step up with that womp womp and get stomp stomp. Turn this up for the trunk chump and just listen to the bass, it go bump bump. Gangsta metal, y'all don't really want none. You'll get lump lump. So hop, skip, jump.
Weebles, wobbles, never topples. Gangsta metal is what I call it. Got beefly bivvy, you feel froggy. Stomp your ass and kick your doggy. Get your head bobbing if this is knocking. Yo, Subaru or start crib walking. Weebles, wobbles, never topples. Gangsta metal is what I call it. Got beefly bivvy, you feel froggy. Stomp your ass and kick your doggy. Get your head bobbing if this is knocking. Yo, Subaru
I am not normal, bitch, I'm abnormal. I've got a complex that makes me informal. But wait, there's more, though my life is horrible. Kept up for weeks by the voices that forego normal thoughts that have got me so vexed that it feels like I'm drifting along through a wormhole. Can't ignore it though, I'm delusional. Wait, I thought that my name was delirious. Man, I'm feeling slow, I can't think a show. No emotions, I think that it's serious. Feeling miserable, I can make it all go away, and I'm feeling so feelingless. Take my hand and I'll show you the way. Need your help to extinguish the meek and the meaningless. Let me show you these beautiful pictures inside of my head. The theatric, the viciousness. Limitless is the way that it seems. Look for yourself, you can see what I mean. Visions of death and the worst of my dreams keep me enslaved to a force I can't see. Fortunately, I am not cursed. I've simply just been afraid since my birth. Words, expressions, and hunger, this thirst. Spells out on beats for expressing my worth. First, I felt the grip of the feet. Take me and then knock me off of my feet. Then I step back with the force of release. Spit out my pain, left it all in the street. Eventually, I felt relaxed. Lay back to wait for the day they attack. This war that I wage every day is just that. A war every day and no end to be had.
Why don't you take a little trip with me? Please take my hand. Let me bring you on a journey to a wondrous land. Inside my mind, you will find I am not who I am. Now the doctors couldn't help me, but I know that you can. Why don't you stay a little longer, help me through to the end? Please don't say that I am crazy, I don't know if I am. All these voices and my choices, I just can't understand. Help me please, journey with me, bring it all to an end.
In a strange place, I was raised great. For I know, never proud of this grave state. See some counting and taught me to save base. Never fall, never lapse, never give chase. I'm a rake bacon, never fake greatness. So perplexed by the hate, made me feel jaded. I got rose complacent with the venomous breath of a man bred through the most incredible stress. Felt the weight of my death to crash down on my shoulders. Over and cover all this burden that I'm holding. Suddenly cracking from under this pressure until I am dead from this overindulgence. Soulless and hopeless, now I invoke this anger inside of me, larger than oceans. Plagued by anxiety, I've never tried to be anything but what I am in reality. Constantly battling for my humanity, haunted by all of my endless insanity. I'm the epitome of human shit. Beat myself up with these words that I spit. Deprecate me for my belligerence, cause I'm failing to see that I'm actually sick. Forgiveness is not something I'm gonna get for my shameless yelling impairment of bliss. All this perilousness that I see is just me. Inside of my mind is a treacherous street. Ceremoniously, I'm evolving to be an indulgent, impulsive, erroneous sleaze. Hopefully I'll see the joy of my death. Woefully cocky until my last breath. Stand for the crime and the filter I left. Live with the weight of the world on my chest.
Why don't you take a little trip with me? Please take my hand. Let me bring you on a journey to a wondrous land. Inside my mind, you will find I am not who I am. Now the doctors couldn't help me, but I know that you can. Why don't you stay a little longer, help me through to the end? Please don't say that I am crazy, I don't know if I am. All these voices and my choices, I just can't understand. Help me please, journey with me, bring it all to an end.
Is that a statement or a question? Some you'll regret and others will stay until you're ancient. Some will love you, some will play you until it hurts. Don't you forget, pick them well or you might burn. Hard to tell what's straight, what's real from what I see. Hard to separate partners, friends, and enemies. What is fact, I can't help but to rack in my brain. The same facts of me wishing they rotten in chains. No escape from this, killing the competition. Never rest until we've died or my foes are beaten. Play it smart before you go for the gun. They all come at you first when you're enemy number one. Every day was evolution, the shit was steady, but I felt the cracks sinking the ship one of many. Had to tilt the way your ego was set to inflate, breaking things apart, making things hard, and worlds change. The world is turning, I'm falling upwards. Can you reach out and save me? The hope I'm calling for is you. Can I change my fate? I prepare for every case, don't think me blind. Even if I lose, I gain what is left behind. A memory lost, a lesson I'm taught. I even the odds heavily by making my mark. Get in here and fuck with me, stand my Snow Demon, PA, killing all these rappers that claim to be such a big name. It's kinda funny when you think about it. You brag about your contacts, but lack the songs to back shit. Where's that quality now? It never came back after a visit to OJ's house. Yeah, I got my fair share of people that I don't like, but I don't hide it no more. The feelings that I hold tight, this the best I've ever felt. This the hand I've been given. So when I lay the cards down, it's best to pray for forgiveness. I'll admit I have an issue, a clouded mind. Yeah, I need you to save me, pull me up, I'm out of time.
The world is turning, I'm falling upwards. Can you reach out and save me? The hope I'm calling for is you. Oh, can I change my fate? The world is turning, I'm falling upward. Can you reach out and save me? The hope I'm calling for is you. Oh, can you change my fate?
No, you're fucking wrong. No, you're fucking wrong. Stop it. Get out of my fucking head. 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 Get out of my fucking head.
I'm crawling back into my own mind. Parasitic to myself, I am my own demise. No disguise when I'm face to face with my own eyes. See the soggy tears I hide from the shed of light. Just give up the fight and recite a lullaby. Cause suicide is just the beginning of goodbye. The key to life is really what you see inside. And tonight, I break that veil and cross the line. I'm so explosive and hopeless, can't cope with shit. A poster kid of depression, suicidal idiot. Fucking anger fits made up by imagination. I'm going crazy, losing it. I'm drowning in this booze again. I'm blowing up your phone again. Just fucking answer it before I open up this fist and fucking bleed again. Punching holes in walls, bloody fist, devastation. I finally destroyed all of what God made me. Spirit trapped in this flesh. I see no escape except to die. No more can I accept the lie. So I will just say lost souls don't go anywhere but between this world and the next. Though I tend to lean towards moving on, but negative emotions have me anchored to the grave. So I just sit here posting like an afterthought. Follow my people around, can't interact, better off in the ground. Get to see who really down and who fake, who let me down. Wish I can fix all mistakes. Regret builds my prison, I try to escape. Chains of purgatory pull me back, is this my fate? All the hate molds me to malevolent wraith, wishing harm on those I love, wanting all of them to taste my own hell, not cause they did me ill. The solitude drives me mad while I just sit still. The world moves on, how am I supposed to feel? Ghostly apparition in the corner only wants to kill. Spirit trapped in this flesh, I see no escape except to die. No more can I accept the lie. So I will just say goodbye.
Get 'em low.
Watch me sing with the demons, another scene to turn heathen, hearing screaming. I went from bleeding to dreaming, the hatred feelings of my past. Kiss my ass if you ever think I'm back from the godly. Watch me burn in hell. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell. Ripping it up, chopping them down, spitting the truth. I'ma spit it right now. Invest in my style, I walk with a smile. Be watching me grow. My flow isn't mine. I'm seeing no character, but for my child, but for my girl. But it's so high up in piles, but it's so high in the heavenly clouds. We don't fuck with you clowns. You better back the fuck up, before you get smacked the fuck up. I'm a big boss brawler, bruh, a massive one up. I built an army to guard me, if anybody harm me. I ain't came to party, I came to bear a warning. Chill with the internet, politics, ignorant media, owned by the parliament. If you're just starting shit, leave it alone. Joined by Illuminati and making the clones. The fact that it's hardly whatever you know. Y'all making it grow into a comical rendezvous, but when the story unfolds, see bullets and stones. Is there really any other way to kill your conscience? You've been thinking deeper than existence, deeper than the logic, deeper like a prophet, deeper than Muhammad. You have fallen into knowledge and mistaken. Lo, you crossed $1,000 promise. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell. Watch me sell my soul disembodied. Watch me lose myself all over. Watch me separate from the godly. Watch me burn in hell.
madness and sadness, happiness and joy mixed with depression, and those lessons we all learn from having these emotions grab us. Suicidal, homicidal fits of psycho rip inside my vitals. Awful G's. How do I manage this? Emotions that keep roller coasting in my ghost, that makes me feel I am indeed a mixture of all of these. Hatred and love and peace and war, hardcore and then mixed quick with a little harmony. Let me go, let the flow go live like I'm a mold to the very in the center of your spot. I'ma spit it again cause I'm embedded deep inside of you like a chip in a robot. Shiny 5 is alive and I'm making it known from every emotion I stretch like Botox. And son of a gun, hip in the bed seats, I can't believe everybody's rolling a soul off. Sorry doc, I really like it the way that I was made, so the crazy train stops when I roll off. And I gotta exhibit everything that's stuck inside of my prison. When I get a vision, I'ma go off. Got me feeling like my mentality better me, had to be the side effect of my motherfucking anatomy. Overheating the brain, be running ahead of me, recording whatever the data be gathering. Sane, I think not 1 million thoughts and they fire at once while I'm caught in the middle of a rock and a hard place. Take them to the Mars space case on slot. I can't think for the feels I'll be feeling coming up out of me, ruckus like a ball shot. And I like if I did not tell you I'm distraught.
Deal with all these things inside. I don't know how I'm still alive.
I am on things, madness and sadness, happiness and joy mixed with depression, and those lessons we all learn from having these emotions grab us. Suicidal, homicidal fits of psycho rip inside my vitals. Awful G's. How do I manage this? Emotions that keep roller coasting in my ghost, that make me feel I am indeed a mixture of all of these. Hatred and love and peace and war, hardcore and then mixed quick with a little harmony.
I'm a ball of confusion, trying to make sense of a life living in the dark, trying to figure out money, trying to figure out art, trying to figure out what in the hell am I doing here, and I fear that it's all an illusion. Have I traveled too far in the wrong direction, telling me to stay calm while it's all depressing, while I detonate bombs and prolong the messes, and I gotta make all of the music, all that I ever fought for, doing it for all your amusement. Everything I've suffered in every moment of trouble, the never code in the bubble, it was all but abusive. I kept it all moving and thought I had it in check, but it fell out behind me, it felt the breathing on my neck. I could feel death coming, but I wasn't ready yet. I remember what he said, if I wasn't already dead. Ever since then, I've been a lightning rod. I feel it all so hard that I fight with God. It overwhelms every night until I can't even sleep. I panic and creep out of feel the banister creek. It's like a mental insane asylum inside my skull of overwhelming emotions, and it divides my soul. And I'm doing what I can to survive. I grow. Is it ever gonna end though? I don't know.
I deal with all these things inside. I don't know how I'm still alive.
I am on things, madness and sadness, happiness and joy mixed with depression, and those lessons we all learn from having these emotions grab us. Suicidal, homicidal fits of psycho rip inside my vitals. Awful G's. How do I manage this? Emotions that keep roller coasting in my ghost, that make me feel I am indeed a mixture of all of these. Hatred and love and peace and war, hardcore and then mixed quick with a little harmony.
Yeah, yo, dressed in all black in the dark, camouflaged by the night. All the lights in the house are off now, and I'm grabbing onto my knife. The back door is unlocked, my mask is on, I'm inside. My freezer needs to be stocked, I'm stabbing all who's inside. So I move in, scan all the rooms. She's all alone, like I assume she's dying soon, but not too quick. I'ma take my time, I'm in a violent mood. Raid the kitchen, fuck buying food. Don't need the meat, she'll supply it soon. I'm on a diet at skinny bitches, I'm eating healthier, I'm trying to. She never stood a chance, she never stood up. After I severed vertebrae, red was squirting, her death was certain. Obsessed with murdering every person, don't ever trust me. I bet I'm worse than the best immersion. Expert working in the field of bringing death to persons, but I murk 'em.
Watch me put on a clinic, I did it for all who dig it. Nothing but raw, explicit, a visually scarring image. What makes you want to live in that body? You're non-existent. Let me put this knife in your skin and take you to a level we all will visit.
seen her at the back of the corridor, wishing that she had some boarded doors. But of course, it was too late, and I already chose her fate. Closed that gate, seen that fear all up on her face, until her brain sprayed from a flawless blade. Sick-minded, demented, that I mentioned, bipolar, prone to get vengeance. Feeling happy deep down when I hear the chainsaw start with a rev like rin rin. And I really wanna end it, but I've been caught up putting little kids in detention. It's so easy to me, like a sixth sense in the river, bodies get tossed like a pigskin. She was deep asleep when I went into a room and got beneath the sheets. I just spooned her, I just laid next to her in the bed, shaking while I beat my meat. I'm just lonely, I just want somebody to hold me while I'm rubbing it in me to ski. It's okay, babe, I don't really wanna hurt you, I wanna coerce you to be with me. She wasn't into it, I guess, cause she tried to run up out of the room, but I'm quicker than a bitch. She got thrown back quick like a Michelin S, took the knife and I stuck it to her chest. Didn't really wanna take it here, babe, but it seems like we can never make this right. So I plunged it in and it pulled it out, the blood sprayed while I drained her life.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Uncovering the Underground radio podcast show. I'm your host, Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment. We're very happy to have you listening in tonight. We have a fun-filled evening and fun-filled show for you, so make sure you stick around and listen to it. You just got done listening to our uninterrupted underground music hour with all kinds of great underground artists. If you are an artist out there listening in and you would like to have your music featured on the show, please feel free to hit us up at brutalbusinessent@gmail.com. Not only for, people inquiring to get their music on the show, people wanting to be interviewed on the show, and any type of suggestions or comments that you would like to make to us here at Brutal Business. You can make sure you also check us out at www.teambrutalbusiness.com for all of our upcoming shows, news, events, and more. We want to thank Spreaker Podcast Radio Systems, who we host through. You can go to the Spreaker Podcast app or at www.spreaker.com. That's SPREAKER.com. And you can check out our show, my other show, Celestial Oddities, a Paranormal Guys podcast, and thousands of other great shows that you can check out on their platform. We are all also hosted through iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Music, Spotify, iTunes, CastBox, and anything else that you can think of. So make sure you check our shows out, hit the like button, share us around, spread us around to your family and friends. The more you share us around, the bigger and better things we can do with the show itself. We do want to thank our sponsors, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel. That is tattooedscumbag.com. You can check them out. They make all kinds of great clothing. They sponsor not only my individual music at Skippy Ickham, but they also sponsor Brutal Business Entertainment and Uncovering the Underground. If you put in promo code BBE10, you get 10 off your entire order. So make sure you go check them out. If you're a tattooed scumbag like me, you'll love their clothes, you'll love their message and their movement, and make sure you support local business. Also like to thank Roush Designs, Legion Artwork, 5 Milligram Artwork, and R3 Graphics, who makes our flyers for the show. Without further delay, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a little bit about the guest that we have on the show tonight. Dematus is a 3-piece melodic metal band hailing originally from Rolla, Missouri. Over the years, the band has played numerous shows ranging from backyard parties to festivals all over the country, even taking part in charity events, and has had extensive airplay. Now currently located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, they have shared the stage with great bands such as OTEP, Chimera, Soulfly, Mushroomhead, Lead the Sky, Oceano, New Year's Day, Stolen Babies, I Wrestled a Bear Once, Soilwork, Devil You Know, and many, many more. It has been said that the band could be best described as Evanescence and System of a Down's illegitimate love child. Passionate about stunning the crowd with her abilities and talents, the band is fronted by Jessica, a wide-ranging, screaming, and operatic stylist. Jessica also plays lead and rhythm guitar reminiscent and inspired by the likes of 80s guitarist Randy Rhoads and Dave Mustaine, along with current guitarist virtuoso John Five. In addition, Jessica is classically trained flutist and is a lyricist and composer for the band. She has won several awards, including the John Philip Sousa Award and the Marine Semper Fidelis Award. On the drums, Ryan keeps the band in step with his fierce beats and is a born metronome. Although he had received classical and jazz training in his youth, Ryan's more dominant and ferocious side took over in his teen years, pulling into the metal genre. Able to read music, play the xylophone, timpani, if I'm saying that right, and percussion instruments, he has been a long-time band section leader, his talents being liked to and inspired by some of the all-time greats such as Terry Bozzio, Carter Buford, Neil Peart, Will Hunt, and many more. And lastly, self-taught bassist Brian is undoubtedly the heartbeat and high energy and source of the band. Having a natural ear for music, one would definitely call him a raw yet polished talent. As Brian would say, he doesn't play under the influence of other musicians. His goal as a musician is to simply reach beyond his known talents while striving to find new levels. So that tells you a little bit about the band, a little bit about the individuals themselves, and we're happy to have them on the show tonight to let you get to find out who they are behind the scenes and uncover the underground with them. Guys, thank you for being on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely. How are the three of you doing?
Pretty good.
Not too bad. It's almost Friday.
Absolutely. It's almost Friday. It's been kind of an odd and strange week this week, so it's not one of those ones where I'm necessarily sitting there saying, thank God, it's over, it's been tough, but it's been very odd. So I'm kind of happy to cruise through it and maybe start a new one soon.
I agree with that.
Absolutely. So I'm glad to have you guys on the show tonight. I've been listening to you for a little while. I actually came across you from one of my bands signed to my label, Brutal Business Entertainment, which is Nine Stitch Method. And I believe through a post or a share or something that they did is how I came across you guys several months ago. And really liked the look, really liked the sound and feel of you guys. And it's, you were definitely someone I had to get on the show. So I'm glad we could get you on tonight, get to dig in your minds a little bit. And, obviously we told the crowd and the fans out there a little bit about you, but why don't you give us a little bit more of an in-depth of that, of, kind of your guys' experience in forming the band together and where you have kind of come from in that, grounds.
Thank you so much for having us on your show.
Absolutely.
But kind of like a short, very long story is like the band originally started out in Missouri. Like we started out playing in a tattoo shop. Like the guy would allow us to do shows, and it was originally like just me as the guitarist. Like I didn't do vocals at the time, and the bass player, like he of course played bass. So it wasn't like original lineup or anything, and that's how we all started out. And then we eventually like needed a drummer, and we like lost many vocalists along the way. And the drummer that I have now and Brian, the bassist, they told me, they were like, Jess, like, why don't you pick up vocals? Like, why don't you do it? And like, I wasn't sure about it. I was just like, I don't know if this is something I could do, like, because I didn't know how to scream at the time. But they were like, you can do it, Jess. Like, you can do it. And so we eventually became just this 3-piece band, like with me as a vocalist, and we've been stuck together ever since, and it's been amazing.
You guys have a great sound, and I mean, it's something, like I said, I definitely dig. I know the bio had made remark to kind of a System of a Down and Evanescence love child, but I know the first time I had listened to it, it kind of gave me, not necessarily in the music, so to speak, but the vocals was a screaming section in the song that I checked out. I don't remember what the very first song I heard was, but it actually gave me a very old school Arch Enemy feel. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to Arch Enemy, but it had kind of that melodicness behind it. It had the female vocals. It was fierce, and as soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh wow! It took me back because I used to listen to Arch Enemy with their original singer years ago, and definitely was nice to hear. It was refreshing.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. So you started out as, I guess this would still be directed towards you, Jessica. You started out as just a guitar player for the band. You weren't originally vocals, but kind of took a step forward and took that role on.
Yeah, like I just literally, I was just I guess you would say, like, lead guitar player in the band, and I didn't have any interest of doing vocals. I didn't think I could do it at all. Like it was just like something that the guys saw in me, and they were like, hey, you can scream. And I guess I always like overthought the process and thought I couldn't do it, and then like just one day it just came to me. I was able to scream.
No, that's awesome, and you guys have a good sound. I think it works very well for you. It's catchy, it's different, and I think people are going to dig it tonight when they hear it. I know the fans are already digging it. I'm seeing you guys on a lot of shows. You're doing very well for yourselves. Keep it up. Obviously, whatever formula you put together is working right. Now, you guys said that, so there is the three of you now, obviously, but was there one other member you said came and went, or was it always the three of you?
Quite a few came and went. We went through like 3 or 4 vocalists before Jess. So we would always be like a 4-piece, 3-piece instrumental, and then a vocalist. We just couldn't find anyone that would take it seriously and stick around. We actually had a really, really big show in St. Louis, and it was a show that we were looking forward to hardcore. We showed up to the vocalist house in the band van, and we could hear him stomping around inside the house. And he wouldn't come to the door. He wouldn't come out, and he never answered. And we were like, okay, so I guess we're going to take off. And we got there, and he still hadn't shown, so it ended up being an instrumental-only show. And that was the day that we decided, we were like, you know what, screw all these people. Jess, you're doing it.
Well, I think that's important, though, that actually happened to you guys for 2 reasons. One, because obviously he wasn't the right vocalist for you. It helped lead you into Jess being on vocals. But it also signified the strength and character of you guys as a band and as a partnership, because there's a lot of people who just said, you know what, we're not going then. You actually showed up and you said, you know what, we don't have a singer, but we are still going to perform tonight. We're still going to put on a show, and you gave people a show, and that defines a true band. So I'm glad to hear that was the case.
Yeah, the show turned out pretty decent. I mean, that just happened to be a show with Bleed the Sky. So, at first we were a little bit embarrassed that they liked us a lot, and we like exchanged posters and autographs and stuff, and they were on their Jägermeister tour, and we were just playing that leg of it. So it was kind of a little embarrassing to start off with, not having a vocalist, but it actually worked out pretty well.
You know what though? But just like myself, a lot of other musicians, they're gonna appreciate that. Even they're gonna realize that, hey, some shit happened to these guys, but they said fuck it, we're gonna do it anyway. And I think most people respect that. It doesn't make you look bad. It actually makes you look good. It makes your singer look like shit. But he's obviously not in the band anymore anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And like you said, a lot of people will come and go, and that's interesting that your guys' shortcomings, early stages, was the singer, because, I've been in bands, throughout my life, and our problem always was mainly the drummer. So, Ryan, if you've been around for a while, kudos to you, because it's always hard to keep a drummer. I don't mean any offense to you, Ryan, but drummers are fucking crazy. And, we always seem to have issues with drummers for some reason, but we always usually kept the same vocals in my band. I was in a band for 9 years, and we had the same only 2 vocalists over the years, but bass players and drummers were a little tough. It was always the original guitars, but drums, we went through probably, I think, maybe 8 drummers over the 9 years that we had.
Holy crap!
Yeah, they couldn't stick
band.
up with it.
I think I've been in the band since 2008, and I replaced a drummer that decided to, I guess, kind of ditch the band and become a guitarist in his own band. So
that's the thing, is a lot of people that do drums don't stick with it. They jump to another instrument mainly because they want to go the easy route out. And I don't want to say guitar is easy by any means, but everybody plays guitar. So when you're a drummer and you're like, well, shit, no one's digging the fact I'm playing drums, and I really got to work my ass off on drums, but I can pick up a guitar and strum a couple chords and people are going to think I'm cool. Then you start to get that to happen, and you start losing people that they don't want to stick with drums. But then again, as I said earlier, that's good. I like to weed out the weak. So just like the singer that you had mentioned, not everybody can do this, because once it gets to a serious level, people start to flake out. And that was our problem with drummers, is it was all fun to play a show once a month, once every other month, but whenever it started to be, we're going to play 6-7 shows a month, we're going to go on the road a little bit, and it was like, oh, well, this isn't fun anymore. Well, no, it's a job, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Yep.
Yeah, could also be because, we have to lug around the most equipment. It's a pain in the ass to set up.
It is a pain in the ass. I will give you guys that, because I would always help my drummer with that. But my one drummer at one point had a rack, and I don't know if you just play on a set or if you have a rack, but he had this extensive rack where it was all his cymbals, everything. To set this thing up took at least 40 minutes. And it was humongous, and it took up like half the stage anywhere we played. He would not compromise no matter what. And I'm like, dude, this drum set is taking up the entire stage, and he just didn't give a shit. It was like 48 years old. We were all like 18, but he was like one of the most mind-blowing drummers ever.
Yeah.
That would be Ryan's kit. Like, he has like
got
this
a rack.
huge drum rack with all these cymbals and stuff.
See, that's funny that I mentioned that. I truly didn't know that, because I've listened to your music, but I haven't seen any really live shit yet. So that's funny that you do have a rack, because not a lot of drummers play on a rack. They just play on a set. But I mean, if you're playing on an extensive rack, that means that you've obviously put some major time and money into it.
Yeah, I've got the Lazy Man's rack. I don't have. It's a little bit old. It's from the late '90s, the model, but it collapses. I don't have to actually take it apart. It folds in on itself, so it makes it real easy to take around. It weighs. Well,
that makes sense. Our guy was just old school as shit, and he was probably playing on one from like 1960. So, I mean, that's why it was so hard to lug into any building, and it took forever, and it weighed like 900 pounds. And I'm sure that they have made newer models that you like press 5 buttons and boop, there it is. But
yeah, most of the new ones are aluminum, so they don't weigh a whole lot. You can just piece them together.
These were like animanium steel.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I don't know, but no, that's great. So you guys have been a band total. How long has the band been a whole?
Oh, Jesus. I think as the current lineup, about 12 years.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. It's a tight bond, that's for sure. Like, we've stuck through so much memories and bullshit, like good times and bad times, and it's like it just like brings us closer together, and we're all like literally best friends, and it's just like great to be able to make music together.
We've got a lot of crazy ass stories over the years.
Oh, I'm sure you do, because I know me and my fellows had a lot of really good times. I miss it. I'm a solo artist now, so these days, for the last several years, I've played a massive amount of shows, but most of them are me performing by myself. So I do perform with a lot of friends, and we will do collabs and things of that nature, but most of my performances are just me, and I love that too in a completely different way. Just like I love the hip-hop side and the rap side, it's weird for me because there's nothing in the world that can replace holding a guitar and just shredding and headbanging with my guys. But at the same time, there's nothing in the world that can describe just dominating lyricism and not needing a band and just being you and wowing a crowd. So I get to see it from both perspectives, but it's been many years since I've been in a band, and it used to be my life. And I always, anytime I find a band that I like and I listen to and they're good people, I'm like, keep that going, because the good times and the bad are what make all the memories. And I'll tell you what, I still think about them all the time.
Aww.
Yeah,
Now,
stick with you.
Yeah, absolutely, to stick with you. I mean, with all the different bands that you've got to network with and play live with, it's awesome to think as any artist, hey, I was starting out, who knows what this would turn into, and then you see all the people you've got to network with and play shows with over the years, and it's like, wow, we're just a regular person, we're able to do these things, and it is limitless because you guys can really go anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
And what's the plans coming up for you? I mean, obviously we know a little bit about your past, but what do you guys got coming up? I know that you had released a recent album as of last year. It was Ghost Carnival, am I correct?
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, well, I was gonna have my bass player talk, but
he's been quiet back there. You can talk.
I was like, tell him to go and tell him, but he's like, no.
That's all right. No, that's okay. You can hang.
Okay, talk about the news.
Well, he's asking about Ghost Carnival.
Talk about Ghost Carnival? Well, we just released a CD last year. It's called Ghost Carnival, and it has just 4 songs on it, I think.
We recorded it at Spider Studios
in
Cleveland.
Yeah, we recorded at Spider Studios in Cleveland, and got to work with Ben, who produced a lot of major albums, for big artists,
all of Chimera's albums.
Yeah, so it was cool working with Ben, and we got to work with Tony, who's also got to work with all these big artists. So it was nice to get pointers off those guys, on songwriting and just working with them. And my goal is every year to kind of come out with a new CD. So if people just keep supporting us, I would like to just keep coming out with a CD every year. And this year we're coming out with a continuation of Ghost Carnival. It's called Sideshow. So it's kind of these CDs that are going to be linked together. So that one's I'm hoping to have it come out in August. Still waiting on some final approval of the artwork, and next year, I'm already been working on new music for next year's CD. So if everyone keeps supporting us, I'd like to just pump out as much CDs as I can.
Absolutely, and I think people will. I mean, I like I said before, you have a look and sound that sells, and I think will market well. And already has for itself. So if you are listening out there, guys, hit the like button, hit the share button. Check out their page, check out their merch, and check out their music. Pick something up, help support them, keep them going, keep them writing more music, and keep them playing shows. Now, you had mentioned some great bands earlier, and we'd mentioned some great bands in, the intro to the show. Why don't each of the 3 of you tell us what your favorite genre of metal is, out of the different subgenres of metal, and what your favorite or most listened to band is in your plethora of music that you listen to as far as metal?
Go first, Ryan.
Hit us with a tough one.
I know that is a tough one to answer.
I think for most of my life listening to metal, it was always what was considered new metal, Korn and all those guys. Lately, though, I've been listening to a lot heavier stuff. It's not quite black metal. It's symphonic metal. Been listening to a lot of Flesh God Apocalypse.
Okay.
They're pretty brutal. They're pretty heavy. I just it's a little change from what I listened to my whole life growing up. I grew up with all the 90s grunge bands and Alice in Chains and stuff like that. And then when I started buying CDs, it was all Rob Zombie and Korn, and kind of stuck with them for about 15 years, and then moved on to heavier things.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. All very good bands that you mentioned. I'm fans of all of the new metal genre that you just mentioned. I also listen to a lot of darker metal and black metal. Not so much these days. There was a very big phase where I listened to a lot of like Scandinavian black metal and shit that was just out there, and like in bands like Dimmu Borgir, and there was a lot of crazy stuff going on. I mean, don't get me wrong, them were great bands. Not necessarily something I can listen to on a steady basis, but definitely deserve their credit. And the other bands you mentioned, like Rob Zombie and things like that, always will be all-time favorites for sure.
Oh yeah.
And then I used to listen to like death metal and heavy metal, like a lot of 6 Feet Under, Cannibal Corpse, Cattle Decapitation, a lot of Devil
great
Driver.
bands. See, that was a lot of the shit that I was listening to. That was actually my favorite genre right there. I was listening to Devil Driver, and just all those bands during that time period. 6 Feet Under, like their Graveyard Classics album. Just awesome shit right there.
But nowadays, as I get older, I like to slow it down a little bit. I like to listen to like a lot of hard rock, like Papa Roach and Hell Yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong with that either, because I actually slowed down myself. I do listen to a lot of death metal, but not near to the level I once did. I'll pop in Devil Driver from time to time. I'll pop in some of my other bands, like Abysmal Dawn, Cattle Decapitation, like you mentioned, and listen to it. But most of the time anymore, I try to keep it calmer, because I was in a lot darker of a stage, I think, back then when I was listening to that. Not that was the music influenced it or anything, but definitely was what I was listening to during a darker time period in life. And now I'm kind of more older, and I'm relaxed, and I'm like, you know what? There's nothing wrong with listening to, like you said, Alice in Chains, Korn, Papa Roach, any of those type of bands.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to that.
Now, what was your favorite out of the death metal? Sorry, Jessica, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. What was your favorite out of those heavy metal bands? Who would you pick as the ultimate favorite?
Like modern day, I would go with probably the Black Dahlia Murder.
Okay, that's the best choice you could ever make. So, love that answer right there. That's actually would have been my answer, so that's great. I just missed them not too long ago here in Pittsburgh. They came back through again, and I missed them, and I was so pissed off because I haven't seen them since Sounds of the Underground in Cleveland, Ohio. Like,
oh my God, I saw them at the same tour.
Yeah, it had to be like 2007 or 8 maybe. Good tour, yeah. That was a great tour. Yeah, Jessica, go ahead. You feel free to tell us about you now.
I guess I like country. I like all kinds of music, so I mean, I literally listen to it all. Like, so I've never really been stuck to listening to like a certain like metal. I guess I was brought up listening to pop, and like my mom, like the heaviest it got was Cinderella, and that's where I would hear the guitar playing, and I'm like, oh man, I really want to play that instrument. But like I literally grew up like liking everything. Like I like rap, I like metal, I like rock. I do like some country, like it has to be the rock country. But yeah, I like punk music. I like it all.
Yeah, you should hear some of the shit that she's playing when Brian and I get home from work. We just look at her like, what the hell are you listening to?
I even have like I don't know, like
it's a very
what do you call
wide
it?
range playlist.
Electronic music. I listen to everything, classical, everything.
You know what? It's good to be versed like that. I mean, like I said, I listen to a lot of things as well. My playlist can go from one extreme to another. I mean, and I'm talking extreme. I'm talking some like just absolutely off the wall stuff. And
yep.
And the next thing you know, like we were talking about death metal. Death metal will come on. Then it's something that's poppy. It's something like you'd never expect me to listen to, because people that know me are like, I'm this very dark character. I'm Skippy Icka. My shit's very evil and very. But then they hear a song come on and they're looking at me and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, music defines us, because you can't have just one voice. I don't think in music.
Yeah, like I like whatever music makes me feel. Like if somebody writes something and I like feel it, like I don't know, I can feel the energy of the words, like the music, like whatever makes me feel it's going on my playlist.
No, I agree with that. I don't like to box myself in, and because when you do that, you do just that, and you box yourself in. And I never was one of those artists that wanted to be that way and block myself off from opportunities. Because there's people like, oh no, you listen to that? Well, yeah, I listen to that. It's a good song. It makes me feel good. It has a good arrangement to it, composition. So I'm gonna enjoy it. I don't ever understood why people have to limit it.
Yeah, I never liked it when people try to make others like feel bad for listening to certain artists. It's like, oh, you like so and so, like ew, like, you know, everybody pretty much whenever they're writing a song, it's just like your soul can like feel from it, like good. Well, just like kind of like try to make you feel bad for listening to a certain artist or genre. It's just like, just listen to whatever you want to listen to.
Because it's certain things in our mind that just trigger. I mean, you don't necessarily tell yourself to like a song just no more than you look at a painting, and for some reason, the arrangement on that canvas, when you look at it, it just sparks something in your mind. You're like, oh, I like that. That's like telling someone to not like a song is like that. Don't like that. You can't look at that and think that looks good.
Yep.
It's strange to me that people do that. I just never understood that.
Me neither.
Well, great. I think we definitely had some fun background information on you guys and talked a little bit about your recent release and what you guys are into as far as music. Do you have? I know you mentioned you're looking to put an album out per year. Do you have? You said that one is going to be called Sideshow.
Yes.
And when do we expect that? I mean, you don't have to give an exact date because you might not know yet. But when do you expect that to kind of drop?
The end of this month. So,
oh, well, then never mind.
Yeah, that's what we're going for.
Okay, awesome.
It's all done. The recordings are all done. We're just waiting on artwork to finish up and to get everything pressed. But getting everything pressed, it only takes a couple days. So we're still hoping to shoot for the end of the month. It's only the first today, so we're on track.
Yeah, you should have plenty of time. I actually have some albums being pressed right now for the label. I'm waiting to get back to that we just recently dropped. So
that's awesome.
Hopefully they come back good. I'm using a new company I haven't used in the past. I'm trying something a little bit different, and I'm kind of anxious about it because I've always had very good experiences with this other company. But I did want to try something different with look and arrangement, and I'm hoping it doesn't bite me in the ass.
That's cool, though. But yeah, like we always, we never put a date on anything. Like we've learned that the hard way. Anytime in the past, we've always put like a date on whenever a music video is going to be released or whenever a CD is going to get released, or I don't know, anything that we put a date on, it always bit us in the ass because it's like somebody would drop the ball for us somewhere and we would be stuck, like, either stop talking about the thing until it got finished, and people would be like, oh, I thought your CD was going to be out this time. And it's just like, we just learn not to put a date on it. We just go with the flow, of things.
We've been let down too many times.
Yeah.
And that will happen. You have to, there's only two situations that I can think of that really warrant you to give a date. One is you have everything already done and you're ready to go. So you're like, it's going to drop on this date next month because you're already sitting ready right now. You're just letting it pass. Yeah. Or you're on a very large label where they're just telling you when it's coming out. They're not really giving you a choice. They're like, well, you have this amount of time to go into the studio and get it done. It's going to be mixed and mastered, and it is dropping on this date, whether it's finished to your liking or not. Then that's one of those cases you don't get to say, and that's a whole different ballgame there. So that's unfortunate because there's been many bands that I've talked to, been around, or just read about that have been rushed on their albums and it still put out a good product, but if they weren't so rushed on the release of their album, I'm sure the albums would have been, sevenfold better.
When you're under pressure trying to do anything.
Absolutely. I'm don't get me wrong, I'm not someone who necessarily folds under pressure, but I'm not someone who really wants anybody dampening my creative flow by, pressuring me and trying to give me a deadline. Like I learned that the hard way as well, like you guys said, because I've released 6 full-length albums at this point, and I told everybody that I was releasing a new one called Absolute Zero at the beginning of this year. Well, beginning of the year came, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, guys, we are definitely delayed. We're looking towards like June. I would say maybe May, but probably June. Well, let me tell you, it's August, and that baby ain't nowhere near done. So I pretty much told people it's just kind of off for the time being, and a lot of that is because I'm running 2 different radio shows now. I do run a very extensive label and a lot of other things that I'm putting my focus into that I'm in no rush to, as I said, make a deadline, because I don't really have to impress anybody at this point. It's not that stage of like, let's release it, a lot of music back to back to back. It's, I can take time in between and do other projects because I don't have to specifically feed the masses anymore because I have 150 songs out. So, you know what I mean? It gets to a point where I can take my time with it, and I think ultimately when I release my next album, it's going to be something to see. There's a lot of songs I haven't released on it yet that are just kind of sitting and no one's heard, and I've had them done for like 8-9 months now.
Yeah. When you got that much music, it is nice though, because like you said, people can listen to that while they're waiting and almost.
And that's it. It gives me that delay. Exactly.
Yeah, we've got a crap load of music that never makes it to the CD because we try to keep the CDs like smaller so we can release them, more frequently and tie them into one another. So like this whole like once all 3 or 4 or whatever of this this particular cycle is out, it'll basically be like a 3 or 4 part album. And even the artwork, like when you piece together the covers, when you open them up, they all connect with one another, makes like one big picture.
Okay.
So we're trying to keep it flowing. We have a lot of other new songs out that we play live, but they're not on any CDs. So we've got a lot to work with right now. We're trying to time everything appropriately.
I love to do that to fans. I love to come out, absolutely blow their mind with, a couple brand new songs that they're like, oh, wow, what was that? And then never give it to them.
Yeah, we play a song live for a while before we ever put on a CD, because then people will message us like, where can I get this CD? We're like, where can I get this song? We're like, at our live show.
Exactly. You got to build the hunger up, because then they're like, oh, play that one song I heard that, a month or 2 ago when you played. And you're like, which one was that? You're like, I don't know, it's not on any of the CDs. And you build that hunger up, and the more that they hunger for it, the more they're going to buy, the more they're going to promote and tell their friends about. You got to hear this song. So it's a good tactic to go by for promotion and marketing. Plus, I just like messing with my fans. I'm not unknown to do that. I do it all the time. For all my fans out there, I love you guys, but I definitely love fucking with you. Now, do you guys, so, right now there's some people who just specifically do music and that's their only outlet. There's people like myself, I do a lot of different things within the industry that I enjoy, kind of a jack of all trades there. You guys into any other type of artistic things other than your instruments and the music that you make, or is it mainly just focused on the band? Because there's really no wrong way to go either way.
Man, we all have like so many hobbies and outlets. Like, I guess we'll start with, you want to start with yours, Ryan?
So I'm into a lot of different things. I collect a lot of goofy things. The primary thing that I do outside of the band is I'm actually a professional fingerboarder under 5 Luck Fingerboards out of Canada. I've got decks with my name on them. I've got all that kind of stuff. So I do a lot of competitions and events and stuff like that.
Wow. That is a very strange random fact that I'm definitely loving it. Like, okay, you are the very first time I've ever met someone that's like, hey, you know what I can do? Check this out.
It's like really hard. Like, I can't even ollie like with a fingerboard, so I give them so much props for it.
Oh no, I've seen videos. It's very impressive. I don't know how one obtains this skill, but I mean, it is definitely very impressive to see.
It's a lot of fun. It's taken me all over the place. I mean, I've been up to Salem, Massachusetts, Toronto, Ontario. I've gone to Cleveland for a few different events. I mean, I've been all over the place just for fingerboarding.
That's pretty crazy, man. Yeah, who would think? I mean, I'm sure if you rewinded back many years in the past, you would have never thought that you'd be doing that.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, it was just tech decks and collecting and messing around with them back then, and then it turned into this whole, this whole professional scene. I don't know, the fingerboards have come a long way. You go from a $3 tech deck to a $200 complete fingerboard setup.
Everything's advanced so much these days. I mean, when you look at anything and you're like, go back 15, 20 years and then look at it now, it's truly impressive no matter what it is, no matter if it's medical advances, if it's electronical advances on any of our devices that we're using. I mean, look 20 years ago at cell phones.
Yeah,
and look at cell phones now. Look at the internet not existing pre-97, you know what I mean? It was something that didn't exist, and now it's everywhere, and you can't get away from it. Internet literally runs our world. It's pretty crazy to think that how quickly the world can change in 20 years. Even thinking in our industry, in the music side, from records to 8-tracks to cassette tapes to CDs to MP3s, MP4s. Pretty crazy. I remember going out and pushing my music in the streets, selling mixtapes or giving away mixtapes, playing.
We've definitely done that before.
Exactly, and where's that age at anymore? Because people don't do that. It's not often that you see new bands, new artists doing it. They just sit on the computer all day, and that's great, but it's a waste of time. I've always been one to want to interact with people, because if you're only on the computer, that's great. You can reach people all over the world, but how much are you really connecting with those people to make an impact that they want to follow your music more than just listen to it?
Yep.
Yeah, you got to get those people to get off their computer and come out to the real world and come to a show, or take a hand-to-hand demo on the street. It's definitely different. We used to scour the streets of St. Louis passing out demos like crazy. We drove all the way out here for Mayhem Festival in 2010 just to pass out demos. We stood out in the parking lot and passed out like 500-something demos.
And the way to do it, though.
Yeah, and it's strange now though, because people look at you like you're crazy because you're not just sending them a link on Facebook or something. It's hard to get people out of their house nowadays.
Even the industry's gearing us towards that, because I got a new vehicle 2 years ago, and I remember bringing it home. First couple of days I drove it to work, never thought of it. I was listening to the free Sirius radio that they gave me for the first month or whatever, and I was listening to a bunch of weird shit that I never listened to. And, I started to run down on my my trial of that, where I just got bored of it, one or the other, I can't remember, and I went in the house and I grabbed my one book of CDs, and I have a pretty extensive CD collection, which is pretty much going to become worthless here soon. And I went down in a car and I picked out the CD I wanted. I looked for like 5 or 6 minutes, found one that was perfect for that mood for that day. Went to put it in and I looked and I couldn't figure out where my CD player was in my vehicle. Well, that's because my vehicle doesn't have a CD player.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a cassette player. It has nothing. It's just strictly auxiliary and Bluetooth. And I'm like, what in the fuck just happened to me?
Nope.
And that's what they're doing with the industry, is like you said, handing out mixtapes is almost frowned upon and looked at. When you start handing out mixtapes at a concert, people are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you giving me this? Like, I don't want this. What am I going to do with this, man? They're like, this is a burden. This is going to take up room. Send me a Facebook link. Yeah. And it's like, it's so weird to think that that's the world now.
We should start selling VHS tapes.
That'd be sweet. I remember sitting in my bedroom when I was a kid listening to VH tapes. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people's computers don't even have disk drives anymore.
No. No. Yeah, actually, the laptop I'm on the laptop I'm on right now does. My other one that I was on before it fried about a month or two ago did not have one on it. And that was kind of weird, too, because I wanted to burn a CD the one day, and I'm like, well, this isn't going to work.
Now, it's definitely crazy.
It definitely has changed up the industry a good bit and changed up. But you know what? It's an ever-changing beast. We have to adapt to it and be able to kind of adapt to it in order to stay relevant in the scene and relevant with our music. So, no. As far as shows and getting out there, I know you guys have talked about traveling a good bit with the band. Some of your side ventures and things that you do. What do you guys have coming up as far as shows, events, anything that we can catch you at?
Sorry, we lost you real quick.
I was asking you what. No, that's okay. What events do you guys have coming up right now that we can catch you at live?
Our next show.
The 29th.
Yeah. Here's the information on it.
It's It's on the 29th. We're playing with Massive Scar Era and Notion of Silence at the Mr. Roboto project.
Oh wow! You ever played
small
there?
venue, but it's fun. We did. We played there about 6 or 7 years ago. 6 years ago. It's been a while.
It's a fun little place. Super tight, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Has a carpet race car on the wall.
Yeah, we haven't been there in a while. They still have those little carpet NASCARs all over the walls.
Oh, I don't think, or maybe. Well, the thing is, I was there for a Halloween show probably about 5-6 years ago, and all the walls were covered and stuff, so it was dark and I couldn't see. But I played there, and I've been in Pittsburgh my whole life, and I've only ever played there that one time, and it was a really fun little packed-in show for Halloween. So I'm not sure if they had those or not because everything was covered that night. But yeah, it's a kind of a weird little side spot that you would never think about.
Yeah, we played there back when we first relocated out here. I mean, it was definitely fun. I mean, this will be interesting because we haven't been there in a while, and I think it was a Notion of Silence or one of those bands that had asked us to play originally, and we just took it on. We're like, hey, we haven't played there in a while. Let's do it.
Massive Scar Era is from Canada.
Massive Scar. Yeah, they're on tour, and that's going to be one of their stops, so we'll be playing there with them.
And then I have an acoustic show August 10th. Like, it's the middle of the day. Like, I think I play like
12:50 to 1:10.
12:50 to like 1:10. It's like a 20-minute acoustic set. It's just going to be me playing a couple of our songs off the new album. And I think I'm not positive about the name of the place. It's like Breezeway. Like, I posted an event on our Facebook page, so those who are interested could definitely check it out and share the news and come down and hear an acoustic set of our music.
I love some good acoustic. There's nothing wrong with sitting down and just kind of closing your eyes and vibing to some good acoustic tunes.
I love playing the acoustic. It's like my favorite thing to do.
And it really works your fingers too, because I mean, you can riff on a guitar all day long and it's awesome, but when you pick up an acoustic and you try to play, I mean, if you're playing actual like acoustic style music, then it's not the same, but if you're trying to play and cover your own metal songs on an acoustic, that is a massive finger work out there.
Yeah, it is.
You definitely got to push a lot harder on that fretboard.
A lot harder, and I'll tell you what, those acoustic strings will rip your tip of your fingers up way more, and I mean, even with the calluses, they really dig in.
I don't have that issue, but I play bass and finger pick, so.
Yeah.
His fingers are calluses.
His fingers are rocks. He just slaps them on there. It doesn't even matter anymore. I have no feeling in these fingers. Now, I know I did. Go ahead.
I said even like when I don't play, like in like a couple weeks, I pick up and I start blistering. I just keep going. Like, I don't even care. Like,
oh no, you have to.
I won't even have a fingertip left, and I'll just keep playing on it.
Well, I used to slide my finger up and down the string over and over and over, not even play anything, just slide it up and down until it literally would rip my fingers open and they'd be bleeding. And I would just keep doing it over and over again. I'd slice my fingers all the time because eventually they did become rock hard where, I mean, I never felt anything. I could just shred on it and I wouldn't feel anything, but I stopped playing the guitar near as much these days. It's actually been quite a while since I picked it up, which is a shame, but my calluses, they go away. So if I picked it up and played it now, I'd be a baby about it.
Yeah, baby steps, and then you can shred on it.
Yeah, it'd be a while, man. I could probably pick it up and lay down a sweet lick right now, but I don't think I could pick it up and shred for quite some time. I used to once upon a time, but, you know, people say it's like a bike. You just, you pick it back up and ride it again. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
You can pick it back up and play, but you're not picking it back up and playing anywhere near the level you once did.
No.
Yeah, I heard on your last interview you haven't really touched the guitar in a year. I think I would go crazy.
You know what? It's a shame because it was my life. I mean, if you ask anybody growing up, that is all I did. I was a loser. I would not hang out with people. I would go home after school, sit in my room and play guitar from the time I got home from school to the time I went to bed. I'd play it for a little bit in the morning before I went to school. Sometimes I'd sneak out of school and go home and play it during school. So it was all I cared about. I mean, it was my life. And then kind of weird, you fast forward 20 years later, and it's now I don't even play the guitar. And it's like, I wonder how that works.
That's kind of like how my life is now. Like, well, besides all the crazy hobbies that I do, like I always, if I'm like watching TV, I have the guitar in my hand. If I'm like, anytime that I have the chance, like the guitar is in my hand.
I'm actually kind of shocked she doesn't have it in her hands right now.
Just sitting there on the interview, stroking the neck of it. You're like, I love this thing. Like a cat, but not a cat.
Everywhere we go, she has one because she has a guitar in every room.
She's got so many damn guitars.
Yeah.
You're like jogging down a trail, got your guitar strapped on your back.
Hell, she's got so many guitars, she could probably be jogging down the trail and just pick one out of the woods.
That's it. Wear them as shoes, jogging shoes.
Yeah.
So what do you play one specific brand, Jessica, or you play multiple different companies?
I think I have like every company. Like I have Ibanez.
No Fender.
Yeah, I have. Actually, I do.
Yeah.
I won a Fender guitar like at one of our last shows. So so like I do pretty much have like every name besides like I even have Schecter, Fender, Ibanez, Jackson.
What about a Paul Reed Smith?
I do not have one of those, and I don't have a Gibson either.
You have your own model guitar.
Oh, and I do have my own model through Fireplant.
Okay. They gave you a sponsorship, or did you were accustomed to? Okay. Awesome.
It's like an FP one. It's like it's purple.
It's cool looking.
You have she has the first like solid body they've ever made. Like so she has like the prototype.
That's pretty sweet. Now, is that a newer venture that you have, or you had that one for a while?
I actually had that for a year now.
Okay, and then honestly, they're sponsoring you, so no matter what I ask you, you're going to say that they're sick and they're awesome. But you really dig into playing on it.
Me personally, like if I would have gotten to like play it before I agreed to it, I think the whole solid body's like too heavy for me. Like it sounds amazing, but just like the weight of it against my wrist while I'm playing, like I just don't like the feel of it. It's very, very top heavy, wants to tip to the left, but like
honestly, so it weighs on you while you're playing, which can obviously tire you out a little bit.
Yeah, and so it's just like I feel bad that I don't get to play on it as often, but like honestly, like when I'm playing those riffs, like I don't want my wrist to like hurt while I'm playing, so like I love my Jackson, like
you lose focus,
like
on lyrics whenever your wrist start hurting.
Yeah, like whenever we play live, like I have so much going through my mind, like the last thing I want to do is worry about like how my wrist feels, like because like I'll always have to like worry about the lyrics, the riff, like I just feel like there's like timing, there's like so much going through my head live. That's the last thing I want to do is worry about how I feel while I'm playing.
Well, you just want to rely on your muscle memory and just let your hands kind of do the dance that it wants to do, and you play the riffs and you worry about the singing and harmonizing it all together and putting on a good show. You don't want to spend the whole entire set thinking about your hands, thinking about your fingers, because then it starts to mess up the singing, mess up the flow of the overall song because you're focusing too much. Now, you might be able to adapt pretty good past that, but still, if you feel it weighing on you, it's slowing you down from being the best you that you can be. So you got to watch out. You have to find that right guitar, that right feel. And I mean, that might be one that's more for sitting at home, sitting down on your lap and jamming rather than standing and playing live. Now, what's your favorite guitar that you have? What do you prefer as your main guitar?
That Jackson King V, like Chad, this guy, he's a fan of ours in Ohio. He gave it to me like as a birthday present, which is the craziest thing. Like that, like it's such an expensive guitar. I would have never have ever owned one, but like he came up to me after a show and he always brought it to me at shows for me to play on, and I would play on it and hand it back to him, and he was just like, "Here, happy birthday," and I was just like, "No way, like you're joking," like, and he's just like, "Take it." I was like, "I can't take this, like it's too nice of a guitar, it's amazing, I can't take it." And he's just like, "Well, if you don't take it, I'm gonna give it to somebody else." And I was just like, "Oh my god, like thank you so much for giving me such an amazing guitar, because it feels great. Like I just love how light it is, and it sounds amazing. It just feels great to play, like shredding up and down the neck. Like it's just such a nice guitar. I don't know, I love it."
Now, I could be taking a long shot here, but part of your bio had mentioned my favorite guitar player of all time who loved playing on Jackson Flying V's. Does that guitar and love for the Jackson Flying V have anything to do with Randy Rhoads?
I'm sure it's an extra plus because it's pretty awesome that he played on it. But like, I didn't ever like really. It wasn't really a guitar on my list of wanting to have. Like, I always loved Ibanez Prestiges. Like, I just loved playing on them and felt good on them. And like, whenever Chad brought that guitar for me to play on, and he knew how much I loved Randy Rhoads and how he played on, you know, Jackson guitars, and like, it just kind of went hand in hand. It was like meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember growing up watching videos of Randy Rhoads playing on the Flying V, and it was like, as a kid, I was like, oh yeah. No, I didn't really play the Flying V's, but I mean, I idolized him as a kid, as a guitar player, and in the way he played, and changed, obviously, you know, a great deal of metal music forever. So, you know, very dope. Now, I did skip you know, a question earlier. I kind of halfway got through where you guys were saying what you do on the side, and we did talk about the fingerboarding, but I didn't pick back up with the other two of you, so I apologize. Got a little sidetracked there. I get a little ADD sometimes. That's what makes it fun. Why don't we jump back to that real quick, and then as soon as we're done going over that with you two, we are going to go ahead and jump into your first song break here. So what is it that the remaining two of you have, you know, is your passion aside from music?
May I like to there's a lot of stuff I like to do, but mainly I just like to have fun, no matter what I'm doing. But the stuff, if I got to choose, I just like to ride quads, fish, shoot guns, and
the American dream.
Camp and hang out and have fun. I don't know.
There's nothing better in the world from camping, fishing, and just being in nature is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. I can honestly, I know a lot of people say this, but I can honestly just like live outside and just be perfectly happy. As long as the weather's nice.
As long as the weather's nice, I could, you know, my retirement plan is someday, away from all this chaos of the music and running a business and everything else, is just kicking up a chair next to a river somewhere, a stream, putting on some tunes on a stereo, kind of kicking back, having a beer, and just casting out a line and just fishing.
Yes.
Yeah. That's kind of like what I'm hoping to do one day.
Absolutely. People forgetting you, and you're not important anymore. You don't even care about it. You're like, I don't care if anybody knows who I am. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna grow a big old beard, look all crazy. And,
I won't care about nothing but just fishing.
That's it. Just to fish and hiking. That's it. So That's great. And then Jessica, what do you do on the side?
I feel like I like to do everything. But I like to.
So you can take the rest of the segment up on that.
But I like to skateboard. I do like to fish, shoot guns. I honestly like get into like really weird hobbies, like balloon sculptures, like building like balloon arches and balloon. I don't know, anything fucking weird. I'm doing it. Like, I don't know, dollar bill origami, like
edible arrangements,
yeah,
face painting.
Yeah, I do. I make candy bouquets.
Wow. Okay, so you guys weren't kidding. Like, there's a lot going on there.
I do horror special effects makeup. I like literally do it all.
So I guess the question should have been, what is it that you don't do? Because that might have been an easier answer for you. Because it sounds like you were very, very involved.
She doesn't do porn. I think that's about it.
Well, you know, there's always down the road. So don't limit yourself. Retirement plan. There's your escape plan there. No, but that's great though. I mean, you guys all are very versed in different ways, and you know, you are involved in some interesting things that I haven't heard any of our other guests say before. So that's awesome. I mean, there's something to be said about being different and being your own person, and I love it.
It all makes us who you are, though.
Absolutely, and that's if we were all the same, everything would be the same, and there would be no point in any of it. So. I think this is a good time to let people hear, you know, who you are as a band. We got to, or hear what it is you guys do as a band. We've got to hear who you are. So why don't we jump to a commercial break, play one of your songs. And the first song I had on the list here was November by you guys. It was, you know, we're going to go ahead and jump into that in a second, but why don't you tell us a little bit about this track and kind of give us an interlude into it, and then we'll play it.
Okay.
So what'd you write November about?
Oh, what did I write November about? It was actually a friend who passed away. Like, we kind of like met like at a weird time. Like, we played at her birthday party, and she, like, after the show, she like reached out to me, and she needed help, and I like welcomed a complete stranger inside my house. It was like very weird, and I don't know, I just felt like she was a good person, and like I don't know what told me to take her in, and we ended up becoming friends. It was very short-lived, and she ended up like going through some really tough stuff, and she committed suicide off of the Pittsburgh Bridge. And so it's like about her and about like how, like just that moment of where you can wish you could like turn back time and like save somebody.
I've certainly been there myself. Unfortunately, I've lost quite a few friends to suicide also, so I'm sorry to hear about your friend. But it's great that you were able to put those emotions into a song. So if you're listening out there, ladies and gentlemen, you got to hear what the song's about. Now let's go ahead and hear it. We'll be right back in a couple minutes here on Uncovering the Underground, and this is November.
As you were on your knees, fold everyone in your darkest hour. We pushed in the soul, heard no faith above. Your only longing was to escape this unjustified perfect lullaby. Sign your soul to sleep. Lost rewrite history instead of this tragedy. Lost rewrite history instead of this tragedy. Wait, let's change yesterday. Wait, got to go window. Reasons why to live or to die. Checked, were you told the other? You couldn't escape the beast. You long inside the beast. The world just couldn't give you. This is justified. Perfect lullaby. Song your soul to sleep. Let's rewrite history instead of this tragedy. Let's rewrite history instead of this tragedy. Wait, let's change yesterday. Wait, back to what we know. Wait, let's change yesterday. Wait, back to what we know. You on the other side. You from front of mine. I will remember you, my friend, till the
And we are back on Uncovering the Underground radio podcast show. I'm your host, Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment, and that was Dematus' song November off their last album, Ghost Carnival. So we are very excited to play that on the show. I was jamming it actually before the show started, and that's an awesome track. We were kicking it during the break, so I didn't get to hear it again, but I'm sure I'm probably going to jam it again later tonight. Awesome guitar work on there, awesome song structure overall, and a very catchy tune. Absolutely. So, we were talking about the differences in music and how things evolve over the years, just with, different from cassette tape to MP3, from, being one style of music to another. What do you guys see yourselves doing years from now? Obviously, you're going to continue to work together, continue to grow, and structure the band even more and more, but where do you see the band going in the next 5 and 10 years? What's your 5 and 10 year plan?
Disneyland.
Deliverance banjo music.
That would be sweet.
No, but where do we see ourselves? Just pretty much probably doing the same thing, but just attracting more fans along the way. Like, we like to release not full length CDs, but more like an EP, like 4 or 5 tracks, and then we like to release music videos along with it. But so that's been working pretty well with us. So we just want to keep doing that, and then just attracting more fans, and then we just do shows, like not really all the time, because if you do it all the time, people stop caring. So we like to just spread our shows out.
You do get more of an effect that way, because if you do play, unless you're playing all over the country, if you're playing within the same state, same 3 states, and you're playing quite a bit, people stop coming near as much as if you play every now and again, really hype that show up and put on a hell of a performance, because we do live in a different age where people used to come out and support shows. They used to go to local. They used to drive across state or to other states to see you. Now people don't want to go 10 minutes down the road to see a show. They don't want to be pulled away from the box, because that's where everybody's at nowadays, is you can't look away. If you look up my artwork on my last album, I kind of made a play off of that. It was called Nomophobia, which is the fear of being away from your device. Wow. And everyone on the front of it is hypnotized. I'll have to send you guys the artwork. It speaks massive volumes. But we really live in a time where we are being brainwashed all around us and no one's seeing it. And it's a shame because, as you said, shows don't have near as an effect as if you do them more randomly and seldom. Because if you play a lot of times, people just don't care. They would rather just sit at home and do nothing than come out and support music.
I think it does everybody a disservice, though, like staying at home. Like, I feel like people now lose that socializing, and then they whenever they do go out, it's just super awkward. Like, I can literally feel people's tensions whenever I'm around people who don't know how to socialize, and it drives me crazy. I can feel their tension. Woo!
Well, I think that's a lot of people nowadays don't know how to socialize. They are socially awkward. They don't know how to handle situations. We live in a very sensitive world where everybody has feelings, and and I'm not for that. Your feelings mean nothing to me. I'll be polite and professional to you, but if I offend you, that's too goddamn bad, because I'm not going to purposely be rude to you, but I'm not going to also watch everything I say or do in my life for fear that what I do might anger you or make you feel a certain type of way. And that's where everyone lives nowadays, is you can't do anything without it ruffling feathers somewhere. And then those ruffled feathers can't just be ruffled feathers. It becomes a problem, and everything's going to have red tape around it now. And like you said, there's a lot of socially weird situations. You don't see children out playing in the parks anymore. I was falling out of trees and shit, going crazy, hitting, playing games like throw rocks at each other and shit, try to peg your friend with a rock. We were doing crazy stuff that kids need to be doing, and they're not doing nowadays because they would rather sit at home and look at a screen. And it affects everything. It affects not only the atmosphere around you, it affects music, it affects really everything. The only thing it doesn't affect is the phone sales and the social marketing and the social media accounts.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Which are the biggest companies in the world right now.
Yeah, I always say that Facebook and cell phones ruined everybody.
Everyone in the world, everything in the world.
Yeah.
I was listening to Maynard from Tool earlier on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he was saying that there was some type of scientific study done that it's kind of like behind the scenes. Not a lot of people know it. It was actually directly from someone from NASA, he said, and that pretty much they have it figured out that the world only has about 400 years left. they're not publicly telling people that, but like
Yeah.
that really the way that we're going, there's about 400 years left of life on this planet before we just ultimately destroy ourselves.
That's crazy.
And you would think 400 years is a long time, but at the same time, 400 years is a couple blinks of an eye, and this world's over.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to take a new form and restart as it always does. Things recycle, and eventually we'll all be back again in some other form or another.
Yep.
But it was just kind of crazy to think that. And I think a big part of that, as you guys just mentioned, is it started, I think, whenever electronics came out, like cell phones and internet, we were already heading towards it anyways, but it was like throwing it on crack and steroids at the same time.
Yep. I like Mater from Tool. Like he's a really smart guy, and I like how he owns his own winery, like, and like speaks out against like using pesticides and just like I don't know. I'm like very into gardening and outdoor like environmental stuff. So like I just think it's cool to have somebody, you know, in the music scene that's very, you know, he's like very influential, and he like owns his own like winery and just like cares about the earth. It's cool.
He does. He's a great frontman, very intelligent guy, has a lot to say, involved in a lot of things. And I mean, to figure out how he weighs out the time to do Pucifer, Perfect Circle, Toll, the winery, everything else he's involved in is truly mind-boggling.
Yeah.
He does a lot.
He does do a lot. I actually got a chance to see last year a Perfect Circle. I've seen a Perfect Circle like 8 times, but I got to see them again, and then for the first time ever, which I've seen pretty much everyone I've ever wanted to see. And that sounds horrible to say that, like I'm not gloating or anything, but I've spent a lot of my life going to concerts. I've been to thousands of them, and it's you know, I've always wanted to see Tool, and I finally got to see Tool last year.
That's awesome.
It was a good time, and I'll tell you what, they're just as weird live. It made me feel like happy and awkward at the same time. There's not a lot of music that can do that.
Was he like standing backwards?
He was standing. He had his own like booth set up behind the band, so there was the drums and the guitar and the bass to the side. He was like behind them all in this like little nook, and he just stood there the whole time. And the lights on the stage were out. And they played most of their music videos on giant screens. They were like all completely around the stage, and it was so dark. And there was about 100,000 people at this festival, and it was just out of control. Like it was like a trippy hallucinogenic experience that I wasn't on. I wasn't on anything. And I'm watching it, and it was like I started feeling really happy, but then I started feeling very odd and awkward. And I'm like, wow, that shit's doing something to me. And I liked it. I don't know if I'd go see them again, and that's nothing against Tool because I'm a huge fan and always have been. But I think that was a good experience to never experience again.
Yeah, but he has severe stage fright. So I know a lot of that tour from last year. There was a lot of footage of him. He was wearing like riot gear, like SWAT team riot gear, and he was facing backwards during the entire performance. And a lot of people are like, why is he doing that? Why is he doing that? Like, the people that now listen to them and know who they are and went to go see them don't know that he has stage fright.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I just thought he was completely insane, which, I mean, that's okay too. 'Cause, I mean, I am as well. So
that's a big part of it too. Yeah, he's pretty crazy. He's crazy smart, but he's pretty crazy. But yeah, he's got hardcore stage fright.
Well, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Crazy for being one of the biggest bands in the world.
Yeah, you'd think. You know what? There's
even they.
You just never know. Like you said, yeah, it just goes to show you that you are, everybody's very uniquely and different in themselves, because I mean, who would ever say, oh, this band's huge? But you know what? He's just a regular dude. He's got stage fright. He speaks out against pesticides and things, as you said. I mean, he's multi-versed, which is a good thing, but definitely a very smart guy, someone I've listened to for years and am very impressed by. But yeah, according to some sources that he was talking to, we got 400 years left, people.
I kind of believe it. I mean, you think about it, with the dumbing down of society's social skills, that's also basically dumbed down their connections with other people. So you got to think about it. Life doesn't have quite as much meaning to the individual as it did, say, 20 years ago, because they're so disconnected from everybody. Everything's like internet. Everything is, everything's digital, and they don't quite have as much of a connection to people anymore. And with just going that route, I mean, that we have these generations are going to be running the country one of these days, and running all the countries one of these days, and that's not necessarily a good thing to have some people running the country that are running governments and stuff that have no remorse, and they have no social attachment to any people. So
Yeah, no, I mean I can see that as the attachment to kindness and caring for other human individuals is few and far between anymore. There's just no humanity. It's slowly dying. People don't hold doors for one another. People don't say thank you. People going out to eat and 5 people at the table and 4 of them are staring at their phone the entire time. No one's communicating.
Yep.
It's a really scary thing to think about for sure. Now you guys are getting some love here. I got a couple different people leaving comments. I have Cody Howard had put that's Demo Demon, another underground hip hop artist, put hype during one of your during your song that we just recently played. So he's loving that.
That's
He mentioned something about one of his friends killing themselves as well prior to that song. So he can obviously feel your pain there, as most of us can. And Miss Red, who is a model who we recently had on the show last week on Thursday, she put, "Love it. I'm such a sucker for female vocals."
Aww. I loved her interview, by the way. Like, I listened to the whole thing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. We get a lot of very interesting people on the show, everything from models to authors to actors, bands. And I did have lined up, but we had to reschedule a professional chef who goes on tour with professional rappers and actually makes meals for them, which is kind of an interesting take. And I'm working with a couple other people coming up. I have a girl that's a professional model who is also an hustler that's going to be on the show coming up in a couple weeks. So there's just a lot of great underground personalities that we just like to kick it, have a good time, and talk. There's a little bit of a different chemistry and feel to my show than most, and people dig it. So I'll keep doing it as long as people listen, like you guys said about your music. So now here's the segment that I got to fire some strange questions at you because I do it every single show. Now, it was weird because I normally ask this question, and I actually seen a meme on Facebook earlier asking pretty much the exact same question, and I've been doing this for a long time. So out of nowhere, I'm like, did they get this from me? Did I get this from somewhere else? Where the fuck did this come from? But it was a little bit different. The question I normally ask is, if you had to battle, would you rather battle a horse-sized beaver or 100 beaver-sized horses? And I need to know what your game plan would be.
My one game plan?
Yeah, which one would you do and how would you do it?
Well, I would take the horse-sized beaver because there's one. If there's a multiple, then you got to watch for every direction. As if there's just one big one, then you can just concentrate on one. So I would probably try to take his legs out because he can run and jump, and then I would go for the head. That way he don't chomp me.
That could work. You could be right. You could be wrong. We won't know. Hopefully, we won't ever know.
I'll hit him with some sticks.
I don't know if that would work either. I think he would probably see that coming. I think he's used to that type of.
He's a beaver.
Exactly. I think he would have one up on you there, though.
Yeah, I don't know, but it would be fun, I guess, battling it. I would definitely.
What was the other one like? Did you say like?
I'd do 100 beaver-sized horses.
It's either one horse-sized beaver or 100 beaver-sized horses.
I'd do the beaver-sized horses. Because
now, while you're envisioning doing it, I need you to actually picture it in your mind.
Okay. I was thinking about this long and hard while Brian was talking about his horse-sized beaver. The way I see it, so horses can be dangerous, but they're also dangerous because of their size. I feel like if they were beaver sized, they'd be a lot less of a threat. Their bite wouldn't hurt nearly as much, and their kicks wouldn't hurt nearly as much. And I feel like it might be kind of fun punting 100 beaver sized horses as far as I could. And that would probably be my plan of attack. I'd probably just start punting them all.
Okay. I got you. Horse punting. No, wait a second. So, wait, which one did you just answer? Was that Brian or Ryan?
That was Ryan.
Ryan, and Ryan, were you the one in the fingerboards or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so fingerboarding and punting horses. Okay. I'm taking notes of the episode.
Life goals now. Like
Life goals.
I need some beaver-sized horses so I can start practicing.
That's funny. I play music. I can fingerboard like a son of a bitch, and I will punt a horse like you've never seen. Oh, good stuff. And Jessica, what is your plan of attack, and which one are you picking?
I honestly can't top Ryan's. Like, Ryan's is like the ultimate plan, like to seriously get like 100 of like beaver-sized horses and like pump them. Like, honestly, that sounds like the best game plan ever.
Now, I mean, I want to know, Ryan, if you were punting these horses, how much distance are we getting on them? Were you thinking you're getting like 40 yards? We getting like 30? What kind of distance are we getting on these punts?
Oh man, well, beavers can be kind of big, so I'm just thinking like your average sized beaver, and then making it like a little horse, and the horse is just the size of the beaver, so I feel like weight proportionately, I think if it was that small, it would probably weigh about half as much as a beaver. And the farthest I've ever punted a beaver was like 30 yards.
Okay.
So
He's never punted a beaver.
Oh, he's punted some beaver.
In Canada a lot.
That explains everything. We know what they do up there.
Yeah, that's a sport up there. They punt beavers. So, I mean, if a horse was the size of a beaver, it would probably weigh less than a beaver because a beaver is way more dense. I feel like I could probably kick a horse at least 50 yards.
Yeah, because, horses are very, tight-bodied and muscular, but they got those long legs which take up a portion of it. A beaver is just like a little ball with hands. And,
It's a ball with teeth.
It's a ball with teeth and hands. I think, you could definitely get some good clearance on that horse punting. We'll have to stay tuned. And if I ever create a race of beaver-sized horses, I will let you know. Now, another question I ask every show is kind of sidetracking from here. Is what is the one thing, and it can be personally in life, it can be in music, but what is the one thing that you guys have done that you don't regret doing, but you certainly would never do again? And like I said, that can be a personal thing, that can be something musically, such as a show or a song, a collaboration, something that you're glad that you did it, but you're like, holy fuck, would never do that again.
I'm gonna go all weird on this one. I would say getting the facial piercings that I had at one time. I loved them. It was like I had an anti-eyebrow, which for those who don't know what it is, it's just like an eyebrow piercing that goes like left to right above the eyebrow versus like the normal eyebrow piercing. And then I had microdermals, which are the dermal implants. I had them like as teardrops like implanted under my skin, and it all sounded great at the time, but I don't have them anymore, so I would never go back to do that ever again.
Yeah, they can go wrong. I had my eyebrow pierced and got in a scuffle with someone, and they put me in a headlock, and it ripped it out, and it completely split my eye, like above my eye, the eyebrow in half. Which left quite a scar that's still there. And I'm like, after that, I took any of the piercings that I had at the time. I'm like, I'm cool on any of this.
Yeah, I actually don't have them anymore. Like they all are like scars on my face. That's why I was just like, yeah, like piercings are awesome, but it's just like they kind of lead to I don't want to be Scarface after a while.
No, absolutely, I can understand that.
Okay. Ryan, you want to do yours?
Mine would probably be get on an airplane. I don't regret it. I've got tons and tons and tons of flights under my belt, probably like 30, 40, 50. I don't know. Like I got a crap load of flights under my belt, flying like to and from other countries and stuff. But the last time I was on a plane, we boarded the plane. They had us get off the plane. They said they had to do some work. So we got off the plane. We were off the plane for about an hour. Then I reboarded the plane, and we took off. And about 30 minutes into the flight, the plane malfunctioned again and basically like shut off mid-flight and started coasting. And it felt like it was like It felt like it was coasting for a good 10 minutes, but it was probably 10 seconds. It was probably very, very short. But that right then and there, I was like, I got off the plane. I was like, nope. Getting in the car and not getting back on a plane.
Yeah, planes can be very, very shitty. I've had some bad experiences on planes. My wife and I boarded a plane, and we were in mid-flight, and she got very sick from the turbulence. And we both get motion sick, but she gets very motion sick. And it was just a shitty turbulence flight. And she had to puke, and she literally jumped up, and they had no fucking puke bags in this plane like most of them do. And she jumped over me. I mean, literally seen my wife in a split second clear me in the seat because I was in the seat next to the aisle. And she starts running down the plane aisle, holding her mouth like she has to puke. And the stewardess sticks her hand up like, no, this is first class, no. So she had to turn around in like mid-run and run back to the back of the plane. And as she's running, she's just holding her face. And there's people like seeing her like, oh no, like seeing her coming towards them like, oh shit, she's going to puke on me. She made it the whole way, but it was like a horrible experience for her. During that plane ride, I wasn't feeling well either. I got kind of ill, and I still have boarded planes since then, but me and her just hate fucking flying. Like, I love traveling. I love being in places and vacationing. I love seeing the world. I absolutely hate the process of planes, security, and the airport.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing worse.
Yeah, I hate traveling with restrictions. Like, I want to bring all this shit with me because I like to be like ready for stuff, but like you can't do that when you fly. You can't bring shit.
No, they're so strict on everything, and it changes roles. You can go through one airport and be fine, and then get to the next airport, and they're like, you can't have this.
Yeah, they're like, what do you got in your underwear, man? Sorry.
That's it. No, they're like bend over and cough. I mean, it gets crazy, man. They want to go deep, and you're like, what do you got carrying in your teeth? I'm like, they're fucking fillings. I don't know. I went to the dentist. What do you think I'm doing to you?
I was actually, I flew last week from Bozeman, and then like at the Bozeman airport, they were like, I walked through security. I didn't have nothing in my pockets, not even a piece of paper. And they're like, oh, you got something in your pockets. I was like, no, I don't. They're like, do you want to get a private screening? I said, no, you can screen me right here. So they put the rubber gloves on and went to town.
There you go. They pulled out a little beaver-sized horse and got crazy. It was nuts.
Yeah, they even swabbed my skin for drugs.
I believe it, man. They're crazy. The TSA officers don't play around. I mean, a lot of them. You got some that are nice and some that are pretty cool. You always got them couple pricks in there that just like they hate their life and they also take life way too seriously. And I understand you're in an airport, you have to be serious, but I mean, no, they're the kind of, you're like, hey, good morning, and they just look at you.
Yep.
And you're like, okay. You're like, he's definitely gonna pull me aside and search me now. And I always say fucking good morning to him. I'm like, I guess I shouldn't acknowledge another human being, but that goes back to what we said earlier. Is just people who have lost that personal touch. That's crazy.
So I guess to answer your question, since I'm the last one, a few years ago, many years ago actually, we was driving and our alternator belt broke on our van. It was at night, so we lost the use of our headlights, and it was raining, and the wipers were barely moving. So we got in front of a friend of mine that we knew that we was on our way home from a show. It was 100 miles away. So he drove in front of us, and I was kind of going off of his headlights, and I was following his taillights, So we drove long distance, like probably 60 miles, and then I was just like, I can't do this no more. It was late, dark, raining. like it was heavy rain too. So he was just like, well, we'll stay at my girlfriend's house. So his girlfriend lived in a trailer park, and there's one way in and one way out. So we stayed there the night. We woke up the next day, and the only way in and out was flooded. Like there was a big tree and everything in it. So we go down there. We tie Ryan. I tie a rope around Ryan. We tie it to the back of their blazer they had, and we were going to send Ryan out into the flood to tie another rope around the tree, and we were going to pull the tree out of the culvert to get the water to go down, so we can get across. We accomplished that. So then Ryan and I were on the back of this guy's blazer, just holding on to the spare tire in the back, standing on the bumper. And then he starts driving like a jackass, starts like drifting around corners. And then we get back to his trailer, and he puts it in reverse real hard. And I look behind us. We're going straight for a tree. I was like, oh, fuck. I jump off. And then Ryan looks behind him. He gets crushed by in between the Jimmy and a tree.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And did any injuries come of that?
No, not right away. The next day, his calf was black and blue, but it hurt for a couple of days. But that was probably the extent of it. But he put a nice sized dent in the tailgate.
Wow, yeah, I'm glad it didn't result in any further injuries than that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
you guys certainly had some good experiences and good stories there, and hopefully, like you said, it was something to learn from, but something you don't have to experience again. We're going to take another break here. After we come back from the break, we're going to let you guys tell us where we can check out all of your music at, give your thank yous and shout outs, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up for the evening. An hour and a half, sometimes, like I said, goes by very quick. I definitely had a great show tonight, and I look forward to having you guys back on the show down the road, obviously. But we're going to jump in, and I think for this one, we're going to pick Somewhere. So let's go ahead and jump into this. If you're listening out there, this is Dematus, and this is Somewhere here on Uncovering the Underground. We'll be right back.
These miles couldn't stop us.
And we are back on Uncovering the Underground. That was Somewhere by Dematus, and that's who we have on the line tonight. We have been interviewing them for the past hour and a half. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the interview. We found out a lot about their past, their present, and their future, who they are as individuals in the band and as the band itself. Got to talk over several funny and fun subjects and discussions, and we are definitely happy to have them on tonight. We look forward to having them on again coming up down the road. And we would like to give them a chance at this time to go ahead and tell you where you can check out their music. If you enjoyed the 2 songs you heard tonight, please click the follow button, the like button, and the share button. Pick up some of their merch and pick up some of their music. Support underground music and help them keep doing what they're doing so well. And guys, go ahead and tell us where we can find your stuff out at, who you would like to thank, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. Perfect. Well, you check out all those different platforms and places to check out music. And you know what? Wait 1 second if you don't mind. Try, and I hate to ask you to do this again. It apparently was cutting out a little bit. One of the fans left a message and said, I do not hear them, and that would have been on the last answer. Once again, if you don't mind, repeat to us where we can check out your music at one more time.
All right, you can check out our music. Our music is for sale, on all the Amazon, iTunes, Apple Music. You can go on Spotify and actually listen to our CDs there. Go to our website, dematus.com, DEMATUS.com, and we're pretty much on all the Facebook, Instagram. Check us out there, and we would like to thank all of our fans for spreading our music to everybody, our family members who have always supported us, Dakota from Devil Inside Records for signing us to his label and giving us the push. He's always been there, pushing us every way possible. Like to thank Ryan Wood for doing an awesome job on all of our music videos and all of our CD. He did our new CD that comes out hopefully soon. Anybody else that you guys thinking about?
I want to thank Santa Claus.
He's an important role in all of our musical endeavors.
Yeah, if it wasn't for him, I don't know where we would be at.
Truthfully, though, if it wasn't for Santa Claus, we don't know actually where we would be at. So think about it that way. The statement is truer than you know. We do want to tell everybody, if you are checking out the show, make sure you hit the share button, spread it around. Check out this and all of our other shows and other upcoming events and things, as I said, at www.teambrutalbusiness.com. And check out our last episodes. Last week we had Brutal Business Entertainment model Miss Red on the show. Yesterday we had It That Betrays, a New York rap duo. Tonight we have Dematus, obviously, as we've already mentioned and been interviewing. And coming up, we have some great other guests as well. Next Thursday night, you can catch me interviewing the touring pop-punk band, Bianca Jasmine Band. The following week, we will be interviewing Torchface, which is a very grimy underground hip-hop artist that I just came across. He's filling in a spot for me for another artist that wasn't able to make the show. And I came across this guy, and I'm actually very impressed by his music, and he's doing very well for himself. So we're happy to get him on. We will be interviewing professional model Lily Rockwood, and we are also going to have Fubar, which is a reggae pop-punk band, on the show as well this month. So we have a lot of great shows for you coming up still in August, and we ask that you share all of them around. And we will see you next week. We appreciate you guys listening. Dematus, we appreciate you guys being on the show, and we'll catch you all next time. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for allowing us to be on your show. It was totally so much fun.
Oh, not a problem. Well, you guys have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.
Bye.
See ya.